there, welcome to the Pipandpin podcast. I am Megan Nodecker. It is October the 5th, and this is episode number 6. I've gotten a lot of brand new subscribers. I think about half of you are new, so I just want to say thank you so much for coming to join me, and I guess to tell a little bit about myself since there are so many new people. I'm Megan Nodecker. I am a knitwear designer from Vancouver, BC. I like to design things that I like to wear. That's pretty much it. That is my aesthetic. What do I want in my wardrobe? That's what I make. You can find me on Instagram as pipandpin. You can find me on Ravelry as knitpipandpin. And we also have a Ravelry group called Pipandpin as well. And yeah, so thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to talk about Knit City a lot. Knit City was this past weekend, and it was it's a fiber festival in Vancouver, BC, in Canada, where I live, basically. And it's amazing. Like, I don't know, this year was it was the best year, in my personal opinion. And it's hard to explain Knit City to someone who's never been before. There's vendors and classes and a lecture, and Katie and I, we actually had a booth. We've had a booth at Knit City since the very beginning, though, I mean, when we first started doing Knit City, we sold knit things, like we sold hand knit scarves and things, and over the course of 6 years, we've changed gears and switched to designing. So that's been really neat to see what happens over the years. But this year, I don't know, I met so many people, so many new people, and so many people that I feel like I knew. You know, you talk to people on Instagram or on Ravelry, and you make these connections online. And for me anyways, I've never really experienced that before. You know, meeting people online and then meeting them in real life. And I kind of thought that it was going to be awkward. I thought it would be, you know, I'm quite in person, can sometimes be an awkward person. And it wasn't like that at all. It was really strange. You know their face, and you hopefully remember their name. and you it's so easy. You just start talking. You don't have to think about it. It's not like you're meeting a new person. You've already met. And that was so cool to me, to just, it almost felt like reconnecting with people instead of meeting them for the first time. It was really strange and really wonderful, and it just feels amazing. One thing, on the Friday night, there was the Stephen West lecture, and my sister Katie was going to come with me, but because of things with her, she has a 2-year-old son, and her partner is going to school right now, and so he had an important, meeting with his professors, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, she was going to come to this lecture with me, and she wasn't actually able to go in the end. And before, I have, or had, I don't know, but I guess I still have it, but quite a bit of social anxiety. So I think Katie knows me, of course, she's my sister, so she knew that, and she was really quite worried, I think, that I wouldn't go myself if she wasn't coming, or would, feel really uncomfortable doing that, but I didn't. I just sent out, as soon as I found out Katie couldn't come, I sent out a message to a couple people, and I put a post up on Instagram saying, hey, like I have this extra ticket to Stephen West. If you can get here in 15 minutes, come find me. And someone did. Someone took me up on the offer. But I thought that it would be super awkward waiting in the lineup by myself and, waiting for this girl that I didn't know in real life to come and show up. And it wasn't. Like, I saw so many people in the lineup. Like, I was chatting with everyone. It didn't feel strange and it didn't feel awkward. I had zero anxiety going to this lecture by myself in a room full of people that I don't know or barely know. That just never would have, I would never have done something like that. And it's just so nice to find your people, I guess is what I'm getting at. And like at Knit City, I found my people, if that makes any sense. I just felt so comfortable and so, there was no doubt, there was no anxiety. It was just, I went to a thing by myself, basically. I mean, there was the girl who came with me, but I didn't know who she was. I mean, on Instagram, but we never met in real life. And that was just the coolest thing. Just the feeling of nothing. The feeling of, I'm in a room full of people who share my interests and who share my passions, and you can literally talk to anybody in that whole room, and it won't be weird. So that was probably personally one of my favorite things about Knit City was just the community. I mean, anyone who's a knitter knows about the knitting community and how supportive and how amazing everyone is to just encourage. And there's no competition, there's no hierarchy. It just is what it is. And it's absolutely lovely. And if you've never been to any sort of fiber festival, if you get a chance, just do it. It's wonderful. I got to meet some people that I've connected with online, like the grocery girls, Jody and Tracy, and Elise from My Two Tips, and Sam. I had to have this all written down because there's so many people that I met. Sam from Hand Me My Knitting. These are all they all have podcasts on YouTube as well. And Jaden from Furl Up and Dye. She's also half of Midnight Cravings. Jaden and Tara, I got to meet them, and Sarah from Make Things Club, and Uli and her daughter, Creations by Uli. They do project bags and things, and Sarah from Riv Creative, and just all the vendors and everyone. Just everyone. I feel like I'm forgetting so many people, but like everyone was just amazing. And I feel like I've talked about this a lot, but you just don't know until you go there. And it was just lovely. It was lovely to see everyone. It was amazing. I don't even know. Like, I feel like there was so much just crammed into those 3 days. I'd say 3 because we set up on Friday, and then there was the lecture with Stephen West, and then the marketplace on Saturday and Sunday. And I feel like there's just so much stuff packed into those 3 days, and I just can't even begin to describe it. Not really. So I'll have some stuff to show you about what I got while I was there, because I did. That's Knit City. lecture with Stephen West was hilarious. He's just a funny guy. I'll show you one thing because this I didn't really buy, but at the lecture, I guess Ancient Arts yarns. They were, what do you call it? Sponsors. They were the sponsors of the lecture, and everyone who was there got a little mini skein that they dyed special for the event, and it is very, in my opinion, very Stephen West. Always bright pops of colors. I am really excited to put these into socks or something, and this is their Socknado Twisters base. 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and the colorway is called I Met Stephen West and I Liked It. Even though I for whatever reason, I didn't actually meet Stephen West. I just forgot to go and get a picture with him. But yeah, that's the one person I didn't meet. I just feel like there's more that I want to say, but I didn't really write anything down about it, so it's just all, I'm sure more stories will come out. Anyways, I guess we'll get back to like a structure of a podcast instead of me just blathering on for, 20 minutes about Knit City. I guess the first thing that I want to talk about isn't actually here. It's in a bag over there. I'll go get it. It's just right here. So I have a new pattern released. It was debuted at Knit City, so you may have seen it there, but it wasn't available on Ravelry until 2 days ago or so. And this is the Marisol, and it's big and giant. My favorite. I will pop some pictures up in here too because we took the pictures the same time that we took pictures of the Cornell and our rhomboid hat re-release, and they just turned out beautiful. So I'm sure we'll be going back to take some more pictures there of different things. But yeah, this is Marisol. It's made with Cascade Eco Plus and ecological. I didn't write down the color names, so I don't know. It's 100% wool. They come in these big, giant skeins, and you only need 2 of them. And one thing that's a little bit different about this shawl is it is asymmetrical. So you start at this end, tiny, and then you go and make an asymmetrical triangle. It's a very, common shawl shape. The only thing different that I did is on the inner edge, or the top edge, I guess, there is I-cord. And if you've never done I-cord before, it is probably one of my most favorite things. It just makes everything look beautiful. And because it's slip stitches, when you do it on an edge like this, it pulls in a little bit. So instead of getting, an asymmetrical triangle with straight lines, you get an asymmetrical triangle with a curve. So it's kind of like a asymmetrical triangle crescent shawl hybrid, something or other. But it wears really nicely because of the crescent. And actually a little bit better. Yeah, but I actually finished this last year, probably last year in, I don't know, October or something. I just never published it. I think what happened is we took it out with us to a few photo shoots, and then we just never really could just never really get good pictures of it for some reason, or I think we forgot a couple of times, so it just kind of fell back. And then when after last winter, I was just like, well, I don't want to, I don't want to release a bulky weight shawl in the middle of summer. So it had been tested. It was tested last year, and every once in a while I'd get a message from one of my testers being, are you going to release that shawl? Like, what happened to it? Yeah, I'll just wait a little while. But yeah, so I decided to wait almost an entire year to get it out in an appropriate season. So yeah, if and it does look like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little straggly, and that is because well, it was at Knit City, and also this is the one that I wore. Like, I wore this all last winter, our terrible winter that we had. I wore it pretty much every day. So I'll probably have to make a new sample. I don't know, it's a fun knit. It's because of the stockinette and the lace chunks, kind of. It's really fun, and it's bulky, so it's super quick. So I'll probably make another one of those. I can rust red. Maybe I'll use, because Eco is my favorite. Also, I didn't actually write this down, but I kind of just remembered. But I'm going to be doing a trunk show. My very first trunk show will be November 4th at 88 Stitches in Langley. So that's really exciting. So you can come down and see that in person on November the 4th if you want to. Because you should. Because it's my first one and I'm nervous about it. What if nobody comes? What's next? Finished things. I really only have one finished thing. I got this done for Knit City, and I wore it both days because I really love it, and I'm wearing it right now. And it is the Mount Pleasant tee. This is one of my own designs. It's probably the most popular thing that I have out right now. I've seen, especially in the past couple months, a beautiful ones popping up, and I was very inspired to make myself another one. So this one is, I'll stand up so you can see it. This is an extra large, and I'm about a 42 bust, so I think this one has about 6 or so inches of positive ease. So it's a lot looser than the original sample that I did. And I also added about an inch of length, but it kind of grew a bit. So it ended up being a bit longer. And while I thought my other one was a bit short, this one feels just a touch long. And so there's the detail there on the bottom. I also added, anyways, I did add just another row of garter sticks at the bottom. I thought that it would make it life a little bit flatter, and it does. It does serve that purpose, but I kind of feel like it added a little bit of unneeded bulk to the bottom edge. So, yeah, a little compromise, I guess. The yarn that I used is Sweet Fiber Cashmerino 20, and I didn't write anything down about it. And it's at MCN. And one thing I found, this is my first garment that I've knit with a cashmere in it, and it is quite delicate, which I mean, I love it. It's so soft, and like you saw it, it's beautiful, beautiful yarn, but it is quite delicate. So I don't know if you noticed, but right here, oh yeah, you can see it. That's from my scarf. So that's from my seatbelt. I'm gonna have to get one of those little seatbelt wraps or make something, because yeah, that's not okay. For whips, I have a lot again. I only finished one thing and I cast on 2 more. So I'm not gonna show everything because some of them I haven't really worked on, but The first one is this new sweater that I'm designing, Atlin. And if you remember from last time, I made it giant. Like the first time my gauge just exploded and went crazy. And so this was my first attempt. Um, and it's just way too big, like way too big. I don't know what I was thinking, but then the shape kind of didn't work the way I wanted it to, and things were just not quite right. If you're wondering about the yarn, again, it is Cascade Eco Plus. That is the charcoal colorway. So I started again. I had actually had enough yarn where I was just able to leave my old one and start a new one in case my new one didn't work out. But my new one's just working out so great. So, I mean, you can't really tell, but it is an actual, like, person-sized one this time. For me, anyways. I think in the original pattern I had put a couple inches of positive ease in it. But when I was trying it on, especially with the extra width from my gauge just going nuts, I found that because the yarn is so bulky, the positive ease just makes it like frumpy and not oversized like I had hoped. So and I mean that's a trial and error thing again. Like I said last time, if you don't like frogging things, then don't become a knitwear designer. So this starts with simultaneous set-in sleeves, and this is my first time designing something like this. Not my first time knitting simultaneous set-in sleeves, but definitely my first time designing, and it was an interesting process. But I really, really love the result. Like, it just looks so neat. And so you just start like you would kind of a saddle shoulder almost, and then you pick up stitches along here, and then basically you just knit around. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I remember the first time I knit it, it was Justin's, the sweater, the green sweater that I knit for Justin for Christmas. And that was my first sweater, and I just blindly followed the pattern because sometimes that's just what you have to do. You just have to trust that the designer knows what they're talking about and just go for it. And yeah, it did work out, and I understood the construction afterwards, but while I was doing it, not a clue. So I'll give this a try. And it's going to be quite low neck because I wanted it, I feel like I'm looking at myself and not at the camera. I've wanted it to be something easy to wear over top of things, so like a button up or something. Yeah, so it has some garter on the side, and it's just going to be a nice, cozy, comfy sweater. There's going to be some scalloping and things, and well, that's what I've been working on mostly, I think. Yeah, I would say that's, well, no, actually, I've been working on lots of things, but that one seems to be going the fastest because it's bulky, and that is the wonderful thing about bulky weight yarn. So if yeah, I'll probably be finished that in the next week. Yeah, probably the next week or two, and hopefully be able to get a couple of quick pictures up on Ravelry and maybe start testing soon. So if you want to be a tester for that, or if you want to get put on my tester list, you can go to my Ravelry group, and there is a thread there. Testers, something about testers. It's a sticky one up top. And you can go there and just say, yeah, I want to be notified, and I'll give you an airborne when when the test comes out, and you can be a tester for that. Because so it's one of my favorite parts about designing is the testing phase to see how it all comes together for other people and fix mistakes if there are any. The next one that I have is brand new. I cast this on probably just after my last podcast because I couldn't help myself. Oh no, because I was going camping. Yeah, I was going camping and I wanted to start using this yarn because I thought it was really fun. And this is a pair of socks. Well, it will be at one point. Look at this yarn. Look how fun that is. This is Joma Yarns. Her sock base. It's called sock something or other. Sorry. I don't. My mom's in town from Philadelphia for the week, and so yesterday I was like, you want to take Georgia to the park for a couple hours or something, and I can do my thing. So I was just jotted down some like really quick notes, really quick notes last night. But this, yeah, Joma Yarns sock stuff. And this is, I did write down the color name. Color name is Magnitude. And it's totally like, honestly, not something that I would usually gravitate towards. But I don't know. I just wanted something bright and fun for camping. And this is it steamed up. Like, it's just so pretty. I love how colorful and bright and fun her yarns are. Like, if you're ever bored with your yarn, if you've just been knitting gray for months and months, go check out Joma Yarns, because she's like color explosion everywhere. I also bought, the day before we went camping, I did get some new needles, because the socks that I had been working on before, I had some Haya sharps, and they were size 0. I don't know the millimeter conversion. Yeah, I'm a great Canadian. I don't know millimeters. But they're size 0, and they were just too small. So that the other pair of socks that I was working on are on hold right now because I know they're going to be too tight, and like I just can't really get my mojo up to finish them. I mean, maybe I'll finish them eventually, and then I'll probably give them to someone. But I just can't bring myself to finish. I want a pair of socks for me. The last pair of socks I knit for Katie, so I want these ones for me first, and then I'll go back to those ones. But anyways, I got some. These are Addies. I don't know what they're actually called. Yeah, I told you I'm just terrible today. But they're the Addies. I have the interchangeable set, and I have a couple of the lace tips, and I really like them. These are the lace tips, I know. The only thing, and these are just in the size, it says right on here. 2.25 millimeter. Okay, so yeah, the 2 millimeter ones were the ones that were too small, 2.25 millimeter, and these ones I think are just going to be perfect. I did try the 2.5 for a little bit, and right away I could tell it was going to be too loose, so I exchanged them for these ones, and yeah, they're working out great. The only thing is, I really I don't know, I'm trying to compare the Addies and the Hayas, and I like the cord on the Hayas like 1,000 times better. I really love the cord, but the tips I find too pointy. Like, okay, this is from when I was camping, or I don't know, you can't see it, but I've like hurt myself. I poked my finger open on multiple occasions because the tips are just too sharp. And these ones too, because I was knitting with them so much. I mean, they're little, so I kind of like poke every time I do a stitch. So after a while, it does start to get to me a bit. But the higher cords are just good. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the compromise will be. Maybe I'll try something else next time. For now, these are great. Yeah. And this is what I did. I think this is probably what I did when I was camping. So I cast on and then did that much when I was camping. And then I took these ones to Knit City. If you saw me, I was probably working on them. And then from there up is what I did in Knit City. So that was like a ton. I don't know if you saw this too. That guy there. That is from Riv Creative. We did some little tradesies while we were at Knit City. So I got, it's a couple more, but I'll show them later. But that's one of the progress keepers that I got for her little honeycombs. And I think for the, yeah, and I am just gonna do what I'm gonna do with socks from now on forever and ever, and just knit a giant tube and cut them in half, and then add in everything else later. One thing I do find is, like, especially when I'm walking around and knitting, I don't like having the whole, like, big thing down in front of me. I find it awkward and a little, like, I don't know, it just feels a little wrong. So what I've been doing is just tucking everything up in there into a little ball. And that makes it easier to use. Anyways, yeah, I make one big long tube and then cut them in half and then do afterthought heels and toes. Heels and toes and cups. Yeah. So everything happens after everything's knit. Which I'll probably make a tutorial when I'm done either these ones or the other ones on how to do that, because some people have been asking. So yeah, I'll make a tutorial about that later. And this is, I think, probably going to be for the heels and toes and cuts. And this is a little mini that I got from the Knit Cravings. And I'm pretty sure this was their Living Wall mini skein set. And I'm pretty sure the colorway is called Sidewalk, I think. And it's just this lovely pale tonal gray. Very, very pretty. So I think that'll be good for... Yeah, so I think those will be very nice together. Yeah, I could also do like hot pink or neon green, because I do have a couple skeins still from when Rain City Knits was still dying. And she did like crazy neon colors, but I think I might just need to tone those down a bit, because I'm not like, color kind of scares me sometimes. Neon is not my neutral. Neutral is my neutral. I wrote down George's Gramps on here too, because I did work on that a little bit, but I don't know, I maybe added a couple inches to the body and that's it. So I'm not gonna show that one again until I have made some better progress. And then the last thing that I've been working on is also brand stinking new. And this was using some yarn that I got at Knit City. So I guess I'll show you what I'm working on, and then I'll talk about the yarn later. Oh, and I'm, of course, shoot. I'm in the middle of a row. Anyways, what I'm working on is a Portage by Melissa. Oh, geez. Melissa. Melissa, I'll write your name down because I'm not going to attempt to butcher that. But I have started a Portage for myself. I've loved this pattern ever since I first saw it, and I've seen some in real life, and they're just beautiful, and I think the construction is really interesting. It has these kind of long, and then it has these cool little pockets, so I want to see how that's done, and I want to make one. So I've started that, and oh my goodness, strings everywhere. Strings and needles, and I should have made sure that this was finished. Anyways, this is going to be the back, and it's a raglan. So there's the sleeve in front. And the back has all the texture on it. Yeah, I'm really, really loving how this is going. It says to use DK yarn, but I've chosen to go with a sport, and I did get, and this is kind of what I wanted. I did get stitch gauge, which is good. But my row gauge is longer, so hopefully, like, I'm gonna be playing some yarn chicken with this one. I was originally gonna try and find some yarn at Knit City in a fingering weight and like totally just have a fingering weight portage, which I might, depending on how much I love the pattern. I really love how it looks, you know, right now, but I might still do that later. But with the sport, I will probably have to alter the lengths a bit, which is okay. I'm cool with that. And it's a super wash wool that I'm using, so it will have some more stretch than like a regular wool will. So I'll keep that in mind, and I might even I'll probably block in between, like maybe once or twice, you know, after the armholes to make sure the armholes are in the right spot, and probably, you know, maybe before I start the pockets or something, or before I put the band on, just to make sure that it's the right length. And so that's, yeah, it's so funny. Like I'm very particular when it comes to my own patterns. I'm like, you know, of course I'm writing the pattern so that other people can use it. But whenever I go into someone else's pattern, I'm just like, I don't need to know gauge. I'll just like make it up as I go along and see what happens. Most of the time it works out. At least I know now to like, you know, especially with the top down, it's so easy to just block it and try it on and like see how it's gonna work instead of knitting the whole sweater and then, you know, and then going from there. Of course, that's not what happened with Atlan, but with this one, I'm going to block midway through and just double check things before I knit the whole thing. I'm gonna segue into Stash from Knit City, and then I can tell you right about this yarn. This beautiful, beautiful yarn that I got. So this is Poppy Yarn and Fiber. This is it in the scheme. It will focus. There's a little thing there. And this is their Galway Sport. 115 gram, 260 yards, and 100% superwash merino. This is the Scholar colorway. And they're out of Calgary, so hey, Canada. And it's just a lovely, lovely medley of like kind of neutral, brown, gray, some olive, some green. I really love the olive in there. And on Saturday night, I had Saturday during the day, I bought one skein of yarn. And Saturday when I got home, I was like, I don't want to just I didn't want to just go and buy yarn for the sake of buying yarn, kind of, even though I did that anyways. But I didn't want to really do that. I wanted to have something in mind. So I, you know, checked Ravelry and was looking for my favorites, and then Portage, that's the one that stuck out to me. But I did want to do it in a fingering weight originally. So on Sunday, I kind of went out on my search. Sunday morning, I went and searched for my Portage yarn, and this actually isn't the one that I had originally decided on. Let me take it out so you can see all the lovely goodness. My other ones are in balls because I was, I don't know, too lazy to bring out my winder, which doesn't really make any sense at all. But so here's. You can see it a bit better. You can see the greens and the neutrals. Oh, there's the olive. Kind of gray, mixy. One thing I was a little worried about when I started knitting with this is that it would look like camo. And I didn't think of that when I bought it. But when I started knitting, I was like, oh no, this could be a disaster. But it doesn't at all. I'm loving the way that it's knitting up. I think it's going to be a really nice, nice neutral. But yeah, not what I had originally gone for. They I was gonna get, it was from Poppy, um, but it was going to be their new Hero colorway, which is pretty much the same as this, except the greens are blue, like a dark, kind of dark blue. And so that's what I was going to go get. And I was going to get 5 skeins and, you know, because that's what she had there. And then so I went to the ATM and got my money and came back. And then she told me that she didn't have 5 skeins. She only had 4 because one of them got put in the wrong spot. And she was like, I can, like, you know, I'll just dye you some more. And, you know, that's not an issue. But I am impatient and for some reason didn't want to do that. I don't know why. But then she showed me this colorway, and I said, yeah, I'll take. She did have more of that one, so I took some of those, and she actually threw in an extra skein for me, because because of the mix up, and like that was just so lovely. So now I have 6 skeins instead of, I would not have been able to make this. I don't know what I was thinking when I was buying this in the first place. Like I would not have been able to make a portage with 5 skeins. It calls for 9 skeins of DK. But I could I'm gonna like make it work with 6. But I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, it's just we threw in an extra one, and that was just so super sweet. And again, there it is. Yeah, there's the texture, kind of a honeycomb in the back with the twisted, the 1x1 cables, twisted stitches, and that, which, yes, will not look like camo, and will just be this lovely neutral. Kind of show you a little bit better, but I think it'll just fit in very nicely with the things that I have, and I don't have anything of that color. Like I was kind of, when I originally went for my search, I was thinking gray or, you know, something like that. But then I realized that I have yarn for a light gray sweater. I'm in the middle of making technically 2 dark gray sweaters, the Atlan ones. And I already have a dark gray sweater that needs a little bit of altering, but it will be great. But like, I don't really need another gray sweater right now. Oh yeah, I'm super excited about this one. The next, well, this was actually the first yarn that I got. And even before the marketplace opened on Saturday, I headed over to Gage and I asked them straight out, like, can I buy this before the doors open? And they said yes. So I got myself some of this. And it is the All Together Now colorway. And if you've never, okay, so sorry, it's All Together Now colorway in the classic. So this is for socks. And the merino twist fingering, 80% super wash merino, 20% nylon, 115 gram skein. And if you've never seen Gage dye work yarn before, like just stop the video and go there right now and look at it. Because it is amazing. Like, she does phenomenal self-striping yarns, and she does self-striping yarns for socks, so, you know, just blocks of color. And then she does self-striping yarn for shawls. So she'll actually, like, with a triangular shawl, I think it works with a couple different shapes of shawl, but it will have blocks of color the same width all the way through the shawl, but you're doing like a, you know, top-down triangle or an asymmetrical triangle or, you know, whatever other shape. But like she does this crazy math where all of those stripes are still the same width. Like, it's crazy if you think about it. Like, if you just think about how she figures out all of that. It's amazing. This one is a little bit different. It still has the striping. I'll put a picture of something in there of it knit up, because it's just crazy. Like it's not stripes, but it is stripes, but it's not stripes. Like it's not blocks. It's fading, and it goes in this rainbow of like ridiculousness. So I had to get one, and this will be socks, and it's just super, super, super fun. Yeah, I was really excited about that. That was the one yarn that I knew I was like, I have to go, and I have to like go and get this before it's gone, because I don't want to have to pay shipping. The other thing that I bought, yeah, I'll do the things that I bought first. Okay, so the other thing that I bought, and this was a Sunday, this was a Sunday afternoon, like, panic shop almost. This was something that I feel like at the time I would have regretted if I didn't buy it. Looking back, I don't think it was okay. I'm gonna like say I don't think it was a mistake to buy this. I don't, but I don't think I would have regretted it if I didn't buy it, because I will tell you about one of my regrets later. Anyways, I got this from, where is it from? Black Sheep Yarns. So they're in Port Moody. I've never actually been to their store before, but maybe I should go check it out. Looks like they had some really, really neat stuff there. So at their booth, they had this Peace Fleece. And I read up a little bit about it, but I forget what I was reading. Is it focusing or no? No, it's not. Anyways, yeah, so I got 6 skeins of this, and I got a sweater's quantity. And when I first saw it, it was Peace Fleece. It's 70% merino, or 75% merino and 25% mohair. It's a worsted weight. It's 4 ounces, so I guess 115 grams. And this is their Bonnie Blue Gap colorway. And now originally when I saw it, there we go. I thought it was black, because the lighting at the forum isn't the greatest. Like, it's not terrible. I feel like it was a lot better this year than it was last year. But when I saw this, I did think it was black, with the tweety bits. And then when I went and saw it a second time, I like read the name and I was like, oh yeah, okay, it does. Now I see the navy blue. And then I took it outside and it's like totally navy, which I'm okay with. I would have been happier, I think, if it was black, because that would go, more with everything. But I'm not upset that it's dark blue. I don't regret buying it. But I do just think that, like, I don't think I would have been as upset as I thought I would have been if I didn't get it. if that makes any sense. But there is a shared flood pattern that I kind of have in mind for it. I don't know. It could also be for somebody. This will probably go on the back burner because I now have 3 sweater quantities of yarn for myself. And I don't actually have a lot of personal knitting time. So we'll see. We'll see what that turns into. I feel like it's also, kind of a nice neutral color, so it could very easily be a gift for a man or a woman, I think. What else did I buy? Oh yeah, okay, so I got some Progress Keepers because Justin has said, he said he wanted a treat. Him and Georgia wanted a treat from the market. I'm like, well, it's a knitting market, like I don't really know what I'll find you, but I did find some things. Actually, I left some things in the other room. Okay, so I'm back. And so I did end up finding a couple little trinkets for Justin and Georgia. And for Justin, because he, is attempting to be a hunter and stuff, I found these elk antler buttons. And these are from Riverstone Yarns. Yeah, so just little buttons made out of elk antler shed. And I was talking to the guy when I was buying these, telling him how my husband wanted a treat, and he's like, "Well, now he's gonna ask you to knit him something." I was like, "Yeah, I know he's gonna ask me to knit him another sweater." I've already done 2. He has more sweaters than I do. But yeah, the first thing he said when I gave them to him was like, "Oh, so you're gonna knit me another sweater now?" Thanks, babe. So those were for Justin. And then for Georgia, I went to Honey Canada, and she does these little felted guys, and I got her a little kitty cat ornament. And when I gave it to her and I told her it was a kitty cat, she said, "No, Mom, that's a lion." So I got her a lion Christmas tree ornament. And then she proceeded to ask if we could set up the Christmas tree. I was like, no, we have to wait until December. That's my rule. So I got a couple of things from Flock Fiber for myself, some little progress keepers. I got a little black kitty and a little white kitty, because I realized I don't actually have any progress keepers, and I thought these ones were really cute. So I actually did get a third one, but Georgia has stolen it. And it was this little dinosaur. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, little green dinosaur. Georgia stole it and put it on her backpack. So I only have 2. And then she wanted one of the kitty ones too, and I said, "No, dear. I already got you a kitty." And what else? I think that's all the stuff that I bought. I did get a couple gifts, which was really, really sweet. I ran into Uli from Creations by Uli. She makes project bags and things, and her and her daughter were there. And she gifted me this little Notions pouch. And so it's super cute inside. She is a way better sewer than I am. I can already tell. Top stitching is great. Yeah, so I'll have a little place for all my new project keepers and things in there. And I wasn't actually at the booth when I got these ones, but Katie said that, yeah, Flock to the Needle came by and gifted us some of these little sheep stitch markers. So there's some little wooden ones, and some white ones, and some black ones. And these are from, they're made in Victoria, BC. Oh, let me on. Well, imagine that. As I said, I'm just reading the back, and the website is, I'll put it up there, is Joma Yarn. And I don't know who that is. It's not going to do its thing, but anyways, I wasn't at the booth, but thank you for those. And then I did some trades too. I showed you the Progress Keeper from Roof Creative that I was using on my socks. And I also got these teeny tiny little teardrop stitch markers, which are super cute. And there's a little card there. And this little, I'm going to be backwards, but this little origami cat. I don't know if you can sense the theme of of my Progress Keepers, or what animal I like. Cats, you know. Oh yeah, one more thing. Well, 3 more things. This is really exciting. I've been chatting with Jaden quite a bit from Mid Knit Cravings, and she is Creations on a Whim on Ravelry, and then she also does the Pearl Up and Dye podcast. And we've been chatting, and she offered some yarn to play with, to design with. So I'm gonna do up some swatches and make up some sketches, and then we're gonna kind of collaborate, and there will be a new design using this yarn. So I got 3 skeins from them, and in 3 different weights, so I could try out the different weights. And looking back, we were kind of talking about it, just about how careful I'm going to have to be when I'm swatching, so that I don't mix up the different weights. Looking back in retrospect, keyword of this year, I think, I should have gotten 3 different colors. But I got all the same color. And I mean, this is, you'll see why, but this is one of their new colorways, Curtain Call, and it's this beautiful tonal teal. It's looking a little bit blue, but there is a bit of green in there. And she said when it came out of the dye pot, her and Tara just like squealed, because I guess Tara had been trying to get this color for a while, and like it finally came out the way that she wanted it to. And look, it goes so nicely with their logo there. I'll show them all to you, and I'll talk to them. I'll talk about them a little bit. They're all gonna kind of look the same to you probably, because they're all the same color. But did I say it was Curtain Call? Yeah, that's the color name. So this one is the Sweet Sock. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and this is a 115 gram skein, 425 yards. And I have used their fingering weight before, and I really liked it. This one is their newest base, I think. Yeah, I think they just started using this, and this is their Comfort Sport. And so just a little bit thicker, 100% superwash merino, 115 grams, 255 yards. And like across the bases, this color is the same. I'll show all 3 of them together, but like they're just amazing at consistency. It's very nice. And then this one is their Hardy Worsted, 100% superwash merino, 110 grams, 200 yards. And they're just, yeah, they feel very nice. But yeah, those are the 3 of them together. You can see just how lovely they are. So I'm really, really excited. I have like lots of ideas that I want to throw at them and see what comes back. So you'll definitely, I'll probably show some of my swatches. Like, I don't really know if that's, no, let me know. Like, do you like knowing about the design things? Like, would you be interested to see swatching and kind of that part of the process? Because that's something that's really fun for me. Another, designer pro tip: if you don't like swatching, don't become a knitting designer. But that is something that I really enjoy doing, is swatching. So yeah, I'll probably show those off when I get to them. Maybe I'll even show my swatch book next time. That's something that's fun. Yeah, I totally will. I don't care whether you want to see it or not. I'm going to show you my swatch book, and I'll show you the swatches that come out of this, these 3 skeins as well. So that was my haul. I think that's it. Let's check. Yeah, no, that was it. That's all the stuff that I got. So thank you for the gifts and for the yarn to play with, and yeah, really great marketplace. I wanted to talk about a regret, because I do have one. I feel like this year I kind of was safe with my choices. Like, I feel like I went there with the intention. I knew I was getting the gauge. Like, I knew that's one thing that I really wanted. I knew I wanted progress keepers, and then I didn't really have anything else in mind until, the Saturday night when I decided I wanted to make a portage. But yeah, I kind of feel like I was very safe, and I don't think that was to my benefit. I mean, there was dyers from all over Canada, all over the world, really, and I, I kind of stuck with 2 sweater quantities worth of yarn, which it's not that I regret the yarns that I bought. I regret the yarns that I didn't buy. I regret not getting the single skeins, or 1 or 2 skeins of something just to play with it, or more, just colors that are kind of out of my comfort zone. And one in particular is Tuscan Knits, and they at Bad Anna's booth, they had some Tuscan Knits yarn, and I kept coming back to the Fife in the Now a Ghost Town colorway. It's like this goldy yellow with these flecks of these speckles of black. And I came back to it a couple times, and I was like humming and hawing about it, and there was 4 skeins there, and it was a little bit more it's a little bit more of a luxury yarn, so it was a little bit more expensive, and I for some reason didn't really justify spending that much money on yarn, even though I spent, I don't know, I don't think I would have regretted buying them either, even though it would have been a lot, but I do regret not buying them. I really do, because now I see all of these, all these Instagram posts pop up, and there's this, Tuscan Knits yarn and that I didn't buy. So I actually emailed Bad Anna and said, hey, I was at your booth, and I have a big life regret that I want to talk to you about. So I haven't heard back from them yet, but if you're watching, if you still have it, let me know, and I will purchase it. Because, I went onto Tuscan Knits' website, of course, and, she's one of those amazing indie dyers that updates once a week and sells out in 20 minutes. So the chances that I'll be able to get 4 skeins of, this specific colorway are quite slim. So that was my one big regret. I also I should have, I feel like I should have got a skein from Flock, and I should have got a skein from Yarn Ink, and just to add some punch to my stash. I mean, I have sweater quantities in neutrals and and a few, I don't know, I just feel like I don't really have any fun yarn. I mean, I have fun yarn and I have yarn that I love, but I feel like this was a really great opportunity to get outside of my comfort zone and to try lots of new things, and I didn't take advantage of that like I should have. So, I don't know. There's always next year, and I have more than enough yarn to last me until next year. And there's something that I kind of say to myself every time I see something really beautiful on Instagram, and you see that one post, and then you go to their website right away, and you put it in your cart, and you're this close to buying it, and then the thing that always stops me, the thing that I kind of say to myself is, there is always going to be beautiful yarn. There will always be something lovely. You know what I mean? There's all of a sudden, all the lovely yarn in the world isn't just going to dry up if I don't get it right now. So that sentiment is something that I carry with me when I'm online, because I feel like if I didn't have something to stop myself, then I wouldn't, and I would overspend. I don't think that that's the right mentality at Knit City. I feel like next year what I'll do is I'll make a budget and maybe do a little more research on, because it was really awesome going to Gauge and knowing this is what I want. This is the yarn that I want, and this is the yarn that I'm going to get. And and I feel like, yeah, I should have just taken the opportunity to experiment a bit more and to, yeah, explore my options a bit more. You can always go and buy sweater quantities of yarn. And I feel like I would be more comfortable buying a sweater quantity of yarn online than I would just a single skein. Only because we're in Canada, like shipping is ridiculous. So there's not really a point in buying one skein of yarn because you're paying, $30 for a skein of yarn and $15 shipping. So depending on where it's from, I mean, the last time I put something in my cart and walked away from it, it was going to be $50 American for one skein and a mini, and I just can't do that. But that's my regret. I'll just have to go and there's lots of yarn stores too around here that I haven't quite explored yet. I haven't really gotten out of I haven't really got past Langley. So I'm sure I'll just have to do some more exploring. And if you have any recommendations of yarn that I should try in the future, let me know. I would love to hear about it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I will probably be back in 2 weeks. This one was so easy because I didn't have a toddler this time. We'll see how editing goes. I don't know how long they're going to be at the park for, but yeah, 2 weeks. We'll see how that goes. Thanks again, all my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you stick around, and welcome and thank you. And thanks to everyone who came and visited me at my booth at Knit City. It was really wonderful to meet so many people who are interested in my patterns. And thank you so much for your support and your encouragement. And, you made me feel like a real designer, which is really cool. And, yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. Have a great day, or night, or week, or a couple weeks. Yeah, see you soon.